Business is brought to you by Audible.com.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Married with a Business. I'm Craig.
And I'm Allison.
And we're Married with a Business. We're here to share tips, tricks, stories of what it's like to be a married couple that owns, operates a business, runs a house, has kids that have to be in 20 different places, all of that stuff together.
Yeah, so how is all that going, Craig?
All of that's going great. I will say, because of our trip that we took for the new year, which was a blast, we were late to put our Christmas decorations away this year.
I know. I feel like I put them all away.
I know. We usually don't. We usually put them away, though, like right after the new year. This year, it was like we waited all the way until halfway through January. Like it was
the horror.
It's a terror of it. But anyways, what I was putting, as I was finally putting away the last pieces and parts of the tree, which is we don't get a real tree. We have a tree that we reuse every year.
It's the best tree in the whole wide world, though. I love our tree.
So
it's beautiful.
I was thinking about it today. It's like the miracle tree in a lot of ways.
It never dies.
No. So I'm cleaning. I'm putting the tree. I'm stuffing it back up in the attic, and there's all of these like green, like fake needles all over the place.
You should have seen the pile I cleaned up in the family room.
But yet every year the tree looks great.
I know.
It's a miracle tree.
It's a miracle tree that we saved from a dumpster.
Well,
18 years ago.
Right. And that's something that, to me, that is interesting. Like, there's a person who we got that tree from. Her name was Pat Masters.
Aww.
And she passed away probably a decade ago.
Yeah.
But she used to be an accountant. That's correct, right?
Yeah.
And she was a friend of ours, an acquaintance of ours, and she gave us that tree when she was going to get rid of it. She'd probably had it for 20 years. But every year at Christmas, as we're cleaning it up, and I'm thinking about this miracle tree that will never go away, I think about Pat Masters.
Me too.
It's kind of nice.
It is.
You know?
Yeah.
And it makes me think, like, okay, someday I will shuffle off this mortal coil, and I hope that I leave something small and innocuous like that behind that people will remember. Like, I want somebody to have an old crusty tree and be like, oh, I remember Craig Gaito.
My mother-in-law told me a story recently where she got an email not that long ago and a picture of a note card with a recipe on it. And it said, from the kitchen of Betty Leggett, who is your grandmother.
Right.
And the note said...
Who passed away like 20 years ago.
Yeah. And the note said, Bunny, I just wanted to let you know that every year I make these cookies with my family. My mom passed this recipe on to me, and I think of you and your mom.
So it's like, that's awesome. I hope that somehow we are doing something or will do something that will leave that kind of little legacy.
But I think it's important that if you're doing that, you also let somebody know, because it has nothing even to do with me, and it like makes me cry that somebody is thinking about your grandma and your mom and then took the time to let them know that they're still a part of they're part of their Christmas tradition.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
It's amazing. So,
but it's also great when people in our circle of influence find other business owners who think that we should be able to share their story and reach out to us. And so this week's guests are those people.
Yeah, it's great when we bring new people into our knowledge base. Like, it's always good to learn. And I say this all the time. It's good to learn something new every time you talk to somebody. So we got to meet Wayne and Laura Audette, who own Secure One, which is a cybersecurity company that helps out small businesses and nonprofits, and they do a lot of schools as well. So take a few minutes here and listen to Wayne and Laura from Secure One. All right, everybody, we are excited to have Wayne and Laura Audette from Secure One. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Yeah, awesome to be here.
Yeah, thank you.
Laura, tell us a little bit about how you guys met.
Oh, all right. I'm going to take this one. So we actually, no one believes this, but we met in preschool. So not high school sweethearts, but preschool sweethearts.
So cool.
No, we really did. Our parents told us that they would wave to each other in the station wagons picking us up. So we knew each other in preschool, but we didn't really know that. We reconnected in high school. Both worked at Market Basket. He was a dairy clerk. I worked behind the customer service desk. and it was love at first sight.
Wayne, you agree with that telling of it?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's funny. We owe a lot to Market Basket because obviously I met my future and existing wife and best friend, but also my COO at Secure One and also our security director were both also both in dairy with me. So we kept the family close,
That's pretty cool. So tell me a little bit about how you transitioned from Market Basket to Secure One.
Well, I worked at WB Mason Company for years, which is where I got my start in kind of learning how to be comfortable selling stuff and speaking with people. And thanks to my brother was a big wig over there and got me into the company and ended up having a lot of fun meeting people and talking to people and just, like you guys, I find people being extremely, interesting to learn their stories and talk to them. So was there for a while, transitioned into technology and been in technology for about 12 years now. And so yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It's fast paced, which I need to keep moving. So yeah, it's awesome.
And then in 2021, you started Secure One.
Yeah, we're only in our fourth year technically. Yeah, we're only in our fourth year, which is has been a fun ride so far. I mean, we move really quick. Obviously, as you guys know, being business owners, you got to move quick. And I have ADD, so we move extremely fast, faster than my team probably wants us to move. But
Yep.
but it's a lot of fun though. It's awesome. Yeah, it's been a journey. We started because we really saw a hole in the independent school market in New England and also like national nonprofits. I kept getting phone calls from old clients letting me know they're being underserved. So they kind of forced me to start the business. They were like, hey, like we need someone to fill this hole in the market. You need to start this business. So anyway, so we did. We said, what the hell? So the first 6 months was the most stressful 6 months of my entire life. I think I was more afraid of failure than I was of, success. But it was a tumultuous beginning. But yeah, it's been great so far.
And Laura, how did you guys decide to transition you into the business?
Yeah, so that's quite a story. So I had nothing to do with technology or IT. I came from healthcare, actually working directly with patients for the first half of my career. It's funny because eventually I got kind of burnt out, which I think does happen to a lot of people. And Wayne was like, come over to the dark side, like come over to sales. Like it's so much better over here. And part of me was like, all right, I'll give it a shot, but I need to stick with what I know and what I love and stick with like healthcare. So for a while I did healthcare sales, some sort of medical sales, things like that. And I still always loved it. And I did a couple of jobs, a couple of iterations of that. But the last job I was at was a super small startup and it just didn't make it, which happens, right? So they slowly weren't going to make it. And for the first time in my entire life, I was like, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to take a little gap. It was the summer. We live near the water. And so I did. And we've always supported each other. I think that's why we've been able to be successful so far. So in our careers, we've been very supportive. So I went to take that break. And that didn't really happen. So I'm on the beach and he is like, hey, I got you a laptop. And I was like, oh, okay. So I'm placing orders and I'm helping with sales stuff and helping with marketing. So here and there, I find myself filling some gaps that he kind of needed me to do, which was fine, but I didn't really get that break that I always wanted. So I think about, 4 weeks in, he goes, so I'm either going to hire someone or I'm going to hire you. And I said, all right, well, I really wanted to take about 6 months, but forget it. Let's just come on board. So I did. I took the leap and I came on, and that's kind of how it all started.
Now that you guys are working together, like how have you seen like the dynamic change between like work life and home life, and how have you like sort of balanced that?
Yes. No, it's yeah, I think you probably get that answer every time. 100%. Yes. No, it's we find ourselves talking about work like 24 hours a day, and I don't mind it because I think about it 24 hours a day. So it's almost like having a buddy to talk about it with. But it is tough though. No, it's different, right? On your relationship. We try to set like barriers, like, all right, cool. After like 8:00, let's not talk about work anymore. So we try to do that. I think we do a really good job, but there's no dinner anymore going out and not talking about, anything to do with the business, which is a good, bad thing. And it's funny because I did this to myself, but all my friends and Laura, they're all A players. They're really top-notch people. So now I can't go to any meal with any of my friends or family without talking about work. So I did this to myself.
We try to do, so like you said, like a certain time at night, kind of a cutoff. Same thing in the morning. Wayne's a morning person. I am not. So in the morning, we'll grab a coffee, we'll do a drive, and we try to not talk about work. Working out, so that's kind of a sacred time for us where you do not talk work. Vacations, so like when we do take vacations, we try to shut down, whether it's like phone, laptop, and actually just kind of shut it off, because otherwise those dedicated times that are like for us, it's all work, and it never used to be that way.
How do you, if one of you guys brings up work in those timeframes, how do you guys shut the other one down nicely?
I'm probably not great at that. I usually go, nope.
That's accurate.
That's usually what happens. It's like, 9:30, she's brushing her teeth, saying something, and I'm like, nope. So I could be probably more kind.
I know the look, right? And I know as it's coming out that I should be holding it back, and I have a hard time doing that. But yeah, it's something that we're still working on for sure. It's new for us, and it's an adjustment, and it's something that we could probably continue to get better at.
Yeah,
it takes a long time.
It takes a while. I mean, we always say we'll talk about that Monday.
That's outrageous.
Even if it's like Tuesday night at 8 p.m., we're like, oh, we'll just talk about that Monday. That's our little code word for it. But yeah, how have you guys sort of, now that you're working together, how have you sort of divided sort of like your roles in the company?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, Laura's entry into the business was like, there was a need. It was during a time where I think we were like 180% growth at that time. Like it was kind of a little insane. So I needed her. So I was like, hey, can you do these 5 things? So she filled a lot of gaps. And now her technical title with us is the director of strategic partnerships, but she also is in charge of our outsourced marketing firm, trade shows, events. She does a lot. Procurement now. We had to pull some stuff off our business manager. So, procurement as well, threw that on top of her. And now she's saying uncle. So now we're probably gonna have to hire someone else to take that off of her plate.
I think we try to keep it separate, and that is what's kind of helped us though. So most of the stuff that Wayne does and most of the stuff that I do are very separate. And if he's working from home, I am usually off, at some sort of event, and vice versa. If he's in the office, I'm usually not in the office, or on the road or at a customer. And I think that that's also what's kind of made it work for the most part. Not to say that we're not in certain meetings and things together and there's not overlap, but we try to keep the overlap small. So, we know what each other's doing, but, my role is a little bit more defined and specific. And, he's doing a lot of big picture things as kind of, president, owner, CEO of the company.
I think we find that as well. So when people have that conversation, oh, how do you work with your husband? I couldn't spend all that time with him. We're collaborating, but we're not necessarily like sitting on each other's lap every day. Like we're not in the same space all of the time. We used to share an office, but now we're on separate floors in our new building. So
nice. That's a good move. That's a smart move.
Yeah, it was a good move. It was a very good move.
We can't have a meeting anymore because there's 26 of us, and we can't have a meeting without one of us calling each other babe in the meeting. And and we're like, no, like, let's not do that. Let's try really hard not to call each other babe. Like, hey, babe. Like, oh, crap. Like, I meant Laura, So we're working on that too, which is funny. I don't think other people think it's funny, but we do.
Again.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, how does your team sort of react to those sort of meetings when you guys are together? Like, how do they try to use like one of you to get to the other sometimes? Do you find like that's what you're laughing already? So I know the answer to that question.
Sometimes that happens. Yeah, I feel like people see Laura as someone they can trust and talk about things that they maybe I don't have patience for or don't want to hear. I try to stay extremely positive. I'm a very positive optimist. And if someone has something negative to say, they usually don't come to me. So they'll go to Laura and be like, hey, this is a problem, which is, it's a good, bad thing. Right. So I hear about these problems, but also they don't come to me directly, which is a bummer, but we're working on that too.
I think the other thing, which I like, is that I come from a sales background, but I also am very process driven. And I am kind of I'm working a lot now on like the operational side of things. So I kind of see both sides. And I do think sometimes the sales team will be like, hey, it needs to work this way. And then operationally, they're like, no, it needs to work this way. So I do kind of get pulled in two different directions and need to find sort of a happy medium for like what's best for the company. So I can see being pulled from both strings. And then Wayne's just like, it's going to be done this way no matter what. And I'm like, okay, my flag.
We have a little bit of that too.
Yeah. And I think every business, I mean, like, you know, all employees, like we have employees that have been with us from 1 year or 2 weeks to, 35 years. And so I think they react to us differently as a couple.
I think Craig's the more warm and fuzzy one. If they need something touchy feely, they go to Craig.
Yeah.
But you guys have been, in the last 4 years, you guys have been setting the tone and building this culture. What does that ideal team and that culture look like for you?
I mean, it's so good right now, which is it's a bummer because we're a growth mindset company. Like we want to be a lot bigger. We want to be in 5 different geographic locations nationally. We're about to open up a branch in Indianapolis, Indiana. We have a lot of national nonprofits out there. And so we want the culture to stay small. We're going to run each branch independently almost to keep that culture, because I feel like as soon as you get to a certain size, Laura's seen it before working for really big companies. My brother, who's our CSO, Craig, he's terrific. He's seen it working for really big companies. Like the culture is everything to us. We're not trying to exit in 5 years or 10 years. This is our career. We want this to last until we don't want to work anymore, if that ever happens. So culture is everything to us.
Yeah, we partner with Wentworth and we take we have interns with them and even take that so seriously. So when we go to like a co-op fair, we're looking for culture first, like who's going to be the best fit. So that, if we have them for an internship, do we see a future like for that particular student and kind of bringing them on full time. Yeah. So yeah, to Wayne's point, culture is everything.
So what makes you nervous, or what do you think is a challenge about expanding and having all of these smaller not incessant companies, but groups
within the company?
I think the biggest, I wouldn't say it's like frightening or scary, but just it's people, right? It's finding people that are willing to travel and keeping things that are super close to the vest, like in keeping our culture. And so that's a concern, right? Is losing the culture. We don't want to grow too fast. This isn't like a 5 year, like I said, 5 year, get to this point and get out kind of deal. So we're going to take our time, and the clients always have to come first. So we'll probably keep them in the passenger seat the whole time during the journey to make sure that they're not seeing any degradation of service.
People, they're our biggest assets and our biggest challenges, right? Like,
absolutely.
No matter how much we're setting the bar, and we bring somebody in and we think that they're going to be great, and sometimes they just don't live up to those expectations, which it can be a huge bummer and letdown.
It's true. And hiring personally is not one of my best attributes. So I'm so lucky to have Laura and Craig and Mike and Julie on the team that are really good at it. I'm a good sense of character, but that's all I got. So I rely on everyone else. It's tough, right? Hiring someone, someone could also just be absolutely fantastic in person, and then in 6 months you're like, ooh, that's not the same person.
Yep. Yeah. we've recently been through that.
Yeah, and it's funny because we struggled about 5 or 6 years ago. We struggled to really start to focus on changing the culture in our company, and hiring practice. The way we hired people was like the first place we started to repair that. We used to be, you knew how to do this. Okay, then you have a job. So now it's like a much more long, drawn out process. What's that process look like for you guys when you hire somebody new?
I'll let you take that one.
Yeah. So it's really, we go by culture fit first. So, and then can we teach them the things that are they willing to learn, and can we teach them those things? And initially, same thing that Wayne kind of would do the hiring, and now we have kind of a whole team in place. So depending on if it's on the sales side or if it's on like the engineering operations side, a certain team will be in place. And we do kind of, something virtually, and then we have them in person, and they kind of go through and meet sort of the team, and then it works its way up to Wayne. And kind of has to check the boxes and make sure that it's a good fit for both of us. And it just has seemed to work a lot better than just having Wayne be like, hey, here's, let me look at this resume. Yep, this person, I get a good feel. I feel good about this. and we hire them, we actually put a process in place.
Yeah, that's the same with us. We like it used to, and I was the same way, Wayne. I was like, okay, the resume looks good. We need them here. They're not going to want to do 3 meetings. They just want to come here and get a job. And then Alice was like, no, we're changing that.
Yeah.
And we do almost the exact same thing. It's a phone interview, then a Zoom interview, then an in-person interview.
Yeah, and you got to get through the gauntlet of the team. And we about 60 days ago hired somebody that I never saw anything until they brought her in for the in-person interview. And it was like, first of all, that was great off of my plate. But I think that they weeded out all of the people who I would have been like, oh, well, they're nice. Maybe we can make them fit into this box.
Yep.
So by the time they got to like who we were bringing in, it was like, either of these 2 people will work, and we can do it. Which one do we like the best?
Yeah.
So we're going through that process again right now.
I think it makes a lot of sense.
Right?
It makes a lot of sense, right? I feel like entrepreneurs have to be, like I said, like, you have to be an optimist and you have to stay positive. So sometimes you can be a little blinded when you meet folks that you really like.
Absolutely.
Right. And I feel like we see I can see potential in everybody. Like if he can do it, he just needs to do it. Sometimes they're just not gonna do it. So it's good because we have lots of different personalities, and even when they come in person now, they've got a 2-person 15-minute interview, and then they meet with like the managers. So it's even at that point they get to see everybody who's here, and everybody kind of gets to talk into that. Do they fit that humble, hungry, smart box? But let's switch back to home life. How do you guys handle apologies or when we might be wrong at home or at work?
I feel like I've been working on that. Like sometimes I'm way too short. If I'm in the middle of something or concentrating or like in large, just ask a normal question, sometimes I can be a little snippy, no question. And that's going lightly. No, I can be a little snippy, and I'm trying to get better at like not doing that, and being better. Like I think Laura brought a good point to me like a couple months ago. She's like, hey, like when you talk to anyone else on the team, like you are an absolute sweetheart. Like you put them first, and you don't do that with me. And I'm like, you know what? That's totally fair. My bad. Like I keep thinking you as my wife, which is, not nice either, but it's work, right? So I'm in a different mode. I'm in a different place, headspace. Usually I'm all, I'm kind of an animal at work. So anyway, so I'm trying to work on that personally, not being so short. It absolutely still happens, but working on it.
Yeah, no, I think that in working at different jobs, have realized that, you have to take into consideration that like same thing, although he's my husband, he is the owner of the company, right? So like there's a level of appreciation for everything that he's doing and everything that's going on. So it may not be the best time to bring up a specific question or a specific topic, and it may make more sense to set up a time to talk about these specific things, which feels weird, right? Like it feels weird to put time on his calendar to talk about a handful of things, especially if you're at the same office one day or in the same room. But just knowing that he's juggling a bunch of different things, it's going to go over a lot better than, us kind of snapping at each other. So it just comes down to like a level of understanding and respect. Again, one of those things that we're still kind of working on. I do a lot better though of right away being like, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that, or like, let's move on, let's move forward, because the day just goes so much better, so much smoother when you just kind of move on, move forward.
I'm a little bit more like you, Wayne, I think, and I apologize in advance and in past. I think you and I would get along great.
Yeah, right. I feel the same way. I feel like it's about how it always, and it's always. I think it's for husband and wife to be able to work together and be successful. We've always felt like and I think I see it with you guys. Like you have to have that like yin and yang. You have to have a little bit different personality. You have to pick up the other person's weaknesses, right? And so that's kind of what we see in a lot of successful husband and wife entrepreneurs. Tell us a little bit about Secure One. Like, what do you guys do?
That was the same question I was going to ask.
Yeah. So Secure One. So we are a 26-person IT consulting firm at its easiest form. We have some of the best people in New England that really focus on cybersecurity. We have a whole AI task force that we created about 8 months ago. That all we're trying to do is help our clients achieve their personal and business goals utilizing automation and AI and securing it the correct way. So I mean, that's really, yeah, like I said, it's most simplest form. We're just we're the go-to IT company when people have questions and don't really know what to do or what they should do to grow their business or protect their business, or support their clients. Like, we are able to have those conversations. We have the right people on the team to have those conversations and guide local companies. Like I said, I mean, we focus on independent schools, nonprofits, but we also have a whole arm that does SMB, that's been very successful. We're lucky to have a lot of great clients, so yeah, so that's our most simplest form.
How can people find you?
So we have a terrific website, secureone.com. Laura has been in charge of that with the marketing company, and it's one of the best websites I've seen in a long time. It's vast. Our marketing firm is out of the UK. They're absolute sweethearts. Wingman. Highly recommend those folks for any kind of marketing needs. But yeah, secureone.com. Or we're located in Marina Bay. So we have a headquarters in Marina Bay, Quincy, Mass. 308 Victory Road. We have an office in Wareham, Mass. And like I said, soon to be Indianapolis.
Yay, that'll be so exciting.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, we really appreciate you guys sharing your story and your company and a little bit about your team with us. Thank you so much for your time and dealing with the ups and downs of technology with us.
It was a pleasure. Really nice to meet you both.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
I think that was so great, Craig. And I think that, Wayne talked about how he has built strong relationships when he was at Market Basket, and he's keeping people in his circle that he can trust. And I think it's great that the Chris Ernest from Puzzersky Hatch, the accounting company, who he has known through networking and being on boards with him, he built those relationships, and Chris asked us to reach out and share his story. So I think that was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, this is a prime example of, even if you're working with somebody in a grocery store, you should really get to know them and be close, because someday you could be running a business with them. And that's exactly what happened here. They met at Market Basket.
And when you're running a business, you want to surround yourself with people who you can trust. Not necessarily yes men, but people who you can trust, who are going to help build your vision along with you and do the things that you are expecting.
Well, and I think, and Wayne alluded to this a little bit, but like, they got to know each other. They, like, not only him and Laura, but him and some of his other employees that, were also there, got to know each other sort of in the trenches, right? So that's tough. They're doing manual labor. He's working in the dairy department, whatever it might be. Like, you build those relationships, you bond and rapport with those people in that sort of environment.
And being willing to take a chance to move on and jump in to this idea that Wayne had with him, just being willing to take the chance. Wayne, self-admittedly, he moves quickly. He has ADD. He is moving towards the next thing while he's hoping the people he trusts behind him are building what he's putting before them.
Right. And I think, again, Wayne and Laura, prime example, similar to us. You and I even said it during the interview, like, similar to us, like that yin and yang. Like, she knows how to sort of help him, like, push and pull the throttle on his ADD and his emotions and his drive. And so it's always good to see couples that are able to work together like that.
Yeah, and she came into the business after it was started, very similar to you. She was recognizing her burnout and understanding in the medical field what was causing that, and decided to take the break. And he could see the value in her, and he, the trust in her, and what a great things they could do together, just like you and me.
So, ultimately, it's always great to meet other couples that are running successful businesses together, and you get that sense of, I see why they are able to grow to another state, to grow their business continually, because they know how they've figured out that special sauce as a husband and wife of how to help support each other and help the business grow.
Yeah, so keep an eye out for Secure One. You're going to hear a lot more from them in the next couple of years.
And you can check them out online, Secure One, that's WON, Secure WON.com. You can check out Wayne and Laura, learn more about what they do and maybe how they could help you with cybersecurity. Allison, I don't know if there's any cybersecurity stuff you want to read about, but you could read or listen for free on us by going to audible.com. You can get a free 30 days of Audible if you go to audibletrial.com/bizmarried, and you could listen to something.
Yeah, there's lots of great things, whether it's about cybersecurity or biographies. The boys and I are listening to the biography of Teddy Roosevelt right now.
It's a little thick.
They're 12 and 14. We may have to move on.
Yeah, it's like 28 hours long.
Yeah, and we only get like 15-minute chunks in the car, so I might have to revisit. But Audible has a billion books for us to pick from.
Yeah, so definitely check it out, audibletrial.com/bizmarried. You get a free 30 days on us. Also, if you get a chance, check out our website, marriedwithabusiness.net. It's got a bunch of stuff on there. You can learn more about who we are. There's some resources. You can sign up to be a guest on the show if that's something you might be interested in, just like Wayne and Laura. Or you can also check out, Allison, you do a lot of group work.
Yeah, you can, on the website, you can find out about being a guest, our accountability groups, having us come and speak and chat with you or your team. So there's a lot of great resources there, and we're trying to add more to them all the time.
So check it out, marriedwithabusiness.net. You can also find us on social media. Look us up on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, @BizMarried, or just search Married with a Business, and you will find us. Thanks, everybody, for listening. We'll be back soon with another show. And remember, not only is it important to focus on your business, but also your marriage, because we're married with a business.